have been violated against themselves that we can be able to talk about. But for instance, the man in the home, he is jobless.
He becomes so
He
desperate.
becomes so desperate. Many people don't see that as a problem against the male. You will see all the time they want the male to support. So what can we do in that instant to make the man to understand that he has been traumatized? And being traumatized, the person becomes abnormal. And when you become abnormal, you behave abnormal in every circumstances. So we have a platform or training manual that make the man to identify the problem and how they want the problem in order to solve it. So there's so many things we do. And because of that, you see many persons now buying the ideology, and we see many persons now standing up and understanding that there's, for instance, I ask you, if I have a phone with you or a dialogue with you, how many persons this morning got up and cleaned the room? You slept in the room. So what stops you from cleaning the room? So it should be a woman work. Sometimes we put it in another plane. All right, in the home, how many persons who watches the clothes? You always see the women. Who watches the dishes? The women. Who do this? The women. Fine. Turn the current around. You go to the hotel to wash the dishes. We got $500. To clean the rooms, we got $200. Everything accommodated to $1,000. So, do you apply, or will you apply for that job? Yes, I will apply for it because of money. If you can apply for a job for that amount, why can't you practicalize it in your home? So these are eye-opening practical things we talk about. It's not theoretical. Don't have the theoretical aspect of it, but we transform the theory into practical. You see the reality. And our work has brought many men to the reality, to the realization that they themselves need to be partner rather than being bosses.
Apart from the churches, the schools, and other areas, have you also been able to spot out like the ghetto areas and like where the drinking spots, where they sell alcoholic beverages, those drinks that people take to stir up their brains, and at the end of the day they misbehave with women?
Yeah, definitely. We are in partnership with so many other networks, institutions that work. Like personally, like he or she is chairing the main engaged Africa Liberia chapter. And we have over 27 to 30 different organizations that work in diverse areas in the type of thing. You gotta be unique in a particular area that people will know you for your uniqueness, not to just be a flipping or like other boss over. No. When someone calls your institution name, they should see the uniqueness of your institution. So we are directly, yes, when you talk about alcoholism or people who are on drugs and everything that makes behavior everything, the only thing we do in that area, we advocate or we list with those who are in the areas of drugs methodology. We don't have no specific training for those in that area. The only thing we do is that we create a platform and talk to you. Say, look, I think there's a need for you to focus your attention on this particular area. But we do not particularly go into the ghettos or into the no. What we do is that we work in the communities. In the community, we deal with the leaders. We deal with people who are influentials to make the difference. We believe that when you make the difference through the influentials, there are difference between leaders and influentials. You have community leaders. Community leaders may likely don't be influentials. The person you least expect to be the influential could be the woman that's sitting right in the market. That when she speaks, people listening to her. But she's not a leader. I mean, how you call it? Or what you call local elected leader. But people have respect for her based on her status, based on her expertise, based on her posture and everything. So we identify such group of people. We use them that when they speak, the community listening. And when you work through those kind of people, when they go into the community to speak, you see people get that particular archaeology to say, oh, this person has spoken and we will be father. We will be able to father it. Sometimes leaders are influential also fine. But some leaders, because of the way they treat their people and everything, when they talk, they say, oh, let's listen, and the person is not someone. So we're not going to re-victimize the victims. No. We are going to find remedies to those who are victimized. That is what we look for, community influencers. We don't work with the leaders, but we look for people that when they speak, they make the difference. Like I tell you, for instance, in Monserrate County, one of our coordinators, who is Josiah Toe, he lives West Point. He was one of a brutal person when it comes to women violence and women abuses, beat his woman and everything. Today, if Josiah sits in this studio, he tells you the transformation that has been made. Today, he's the coordinator. He does not even like for you to hiss your teeth at even a woman. He uses his own scenario to impact the lives of others, coming from somewhere of being brutal to where he's refined and now he is an advocate. It tells you the kind of work we have done. It's simply because behavioral change is not an event, it's a
process.
gradual process. And you keep talking, you keep inviting, you keep educating, you keep providing opportunities and everything. The minds become receptive and the transformation becomes a reality.
How do you go about doing your works? You are in 9 counties. The issue of budgetary money expansion is key, and you cannot walk to go to those places, to some of those remote villages.
Definitely. Definitely.
How are you man? How are you doing it?
If you look at our name, called ourselves Crusaders, that word Crusaders on the line, we are almost like a mobile group of people that are aim of bringing about social change.
So you people are food soldiers?
So we have indeed food soldiers. What we do is that when we enter like in Grand Pass County, because we don't have a chapter in Grand Pass, when we enter the Grand Pass County, we train people. We look for people who become passionate of the work we do. We look for people who see the need of wanting to end violence against women. Those are people we use as our food soldiers. We do this thing voluntarily. No one has paid us a damn. The government of Liberia, no institution can knock the church and say we are currently supporting he for she. No, we do it with passion. Once upon a time, we have a project with the UN Women through the Spotlight Initiative. Though it's over now, but we use that money to make the impact into the people communities and everything. We don't have no donor funding. We don't have nothing. But the work we have done now, it shows to even the EU. Now the EU under the Spotlight 2 that is becoming on. Male engagement will be one of their major focus. We are not breaking, but they saw the work we do and they saw the advocacy we have made and everything. So they feel that to end the problem is to work along with the men in order to address. We say to them it's good to keep educating and keep empowering the women. But what about the abusive men who are in the communities that we are not looking at? If we do not consider these abusive men and everything, the problem continues. It's almost like talking to yourself in this room over and over. What different idea are you getting from the talking to yourself in the room? You got to bring other people to see the idea you are propounding in order to bring in ideas that you can be able to mitigate those, concise those ideas and be able to mitigate problems that will occur within these things. So involving both sexes, especially male who are perpetrators, we believe it has a greater impact in ending violence against women and promoting women political participation and women equality.
You also involved in. You are also involved into advocating for women and girls against female genital mutilation.
Obviously.
How you go about with that?
Well, we provide training and everything. We are in a network called the National Coalition Against Harmful Practices, of which once upon a time we serve as a leader, president. We are serving as one of the board members. Over the years, we have worked with the Traditional Council of Chiefs and Elders, educating, providing aspect education on the harmful nature of it and looking at it. Now I can break and say thanks to Chief Sakawa who and Mama Sita Sa who saw the need to work along with us and all other actors. Today we have a band on FGM in Monserrate.
Was it because of your advocacy?
Obviously, you asked them, they will tell you, say, the National Coalition Against Harmful Practices, which was then the coalition, the National Working Group Against Harmful Practices. We work along, and we were leaders in that, we work along with them. And today we can say that Women's Solidarity, the He for She, and other people, we did work along with this group of people. And today, when you look at the policy that was signed by the Traditional Council of Chiefs and Elders in 2023, February 4th in Bond County, you will see the National Working Group Against Female Genital Mutilation. By then, one of our colleagues signed on behalf of the person of Maria Dia. We are signatory to that document. It's based on our advocacy that brought that document to full strength today.
Prior to your involvement into the advocacy, was this female genital mutilation on a high scale?
Definitely, it was on a very high scale, and not only on a very high scale, but it was something that called no-go zone or no permission for discussion. I can vividly recall in 2012 when the conversation started, there was some scenario that took place at home at the offices of the National Traditional Council of Chiefs and Elders. By then they were on around 2024 Street area there. I can vividly recall when this conversation started. Some of us were part of the group that Chief Santankawa front out, and some of our colleagues were locked up. Maria Tia was there, Miada Dawuda Thomas were there, and Sibaki Pachibos, and I just calling him Jacqueline Samuels and everything. These guys and others, we all were part of that, and some of them were locked up simply because the word FGM was forbidding and it was a taboo to people
to discuss.
Yes.
in the
in the larger purpose. And with our persistency, with the help of Mama Sita Sai and others, who is now the national chairperson of the Traditional Council of Chiefs and Elders when it comes to that. We work through her efforts and everything. Today, I see people breaking around talking about FGM, but they don't know who all bear the pains when it comes to the advocacy. Peace to her actually the late Phyllis Kimber. By then, she was working with the Ministry of Health. 1985, she started this advocacy. By then, some of us were still kids and everything. She had her brain. She has so many things that happen. Though she is dead, but the legacy continues. We are proud that today people can sit on the radio, people can sit in gatherings and discuss FGM and everything. I'll tell people today, if I'm not in advocacy, that will be some of our legacies we left behind when it comes to fighting for women's rights in Liberia and making sure that women's voices not only being heard at homes, but heard in the public.
Are you also thinking, or have you been dreaming about this, to have some of these advocacies legislated by the lawmakers?
Obviously. We work in 2016. We drafted the the FGM bill in 2016. We were spearheaded by us, the late Uriah Jala, the late Nathaniel Solo from the Independent Human Rights. We have this guy who we call the director of human rights now at the Ministry of Justice. We have Topa, Divine Topa. We have Adam and Dempster. We have other guys. We sat around the table. We crafted that. Mariam Dia was also part. We crafted that and everything. We were able to present it to partners, the UN Women, the UN, the OACHR, and other partners for the input. The American Embassy, they did place their input into that document. Everything that document was sent into this. Today, we are proud that even the former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor tried to introduce our bill when she was senator, but the bill fell short of some 1 or 2 years. And later on, Phonetico for the Corey Speaker also offered that bill using similar our wordings, not similar.
What is enshrined within the proposed bill?
Well, the proposed bill is that FGM should be criminalized. That's the very first thing. FGM be criminalized. It's tending to the African chapter on humans and people's rights that calls Article 5 of the Maputo Protocol calls for elimination of female genital mutilation. It does not call for consent. It calls for absolute elimination in adherence to Article 5B of the Liberian Constitution that talks about protecting and promoting positive cultural practices. So we believe that in order to promote positive cultural practices is to have a law that criminalizes the practice. We don't have no law in Liberia that criminalizes it. We only depend on the penal code. The penal code will hold someone liable for violation on the penal code based on kidnaps and other things. But we don't have no law. So we're pushing for a criminalization of that law, of that practice in order to bring it in. So though we don't have a law, but we have a policy that bans FGM, and that was pronounced by the Traditional Council of Chiefs and the true chiefs that are and other things. So we work on a policy.
I'm afraid that when this policy is not legislated, it will turn different.
I 100% agree with you. The policy has a lifespan, and the lifespan ends this year. The lifespan ends this year. This is why we are buffering and pushing and advocating that we have extinction of that policy. And in the extension of the policy, we work vehemently to ensure that we have a legislation that will criminalize FGM or else. I'm afraid, as you said, we will revert to a crusade of the practice when we do not have it. And in order to minimize or to eradicate it, not only having a law criminalized, it's also having emphasis on what we call providing alternative support to the practitioners. Alternative support, the UN Women under the Spotlight Initiative established 4 heritage centers, where the heritage centers are places that are built or were built by the UN Women under the Spotlight Initiative for traditional people who turn over their practice. I mean, there are tools from carrying on FGM to go there and be able to continue their FGM, but Senate activities. The good component of it, continue Senate, but with all mutilation.
It's not about just. It's not about eradicating.
No.
And poor societies.
Absolutely no.
think-
We are not against it. The only thing we are talking about, Senate continues with all mitigation or the mitigation. That means for the cutting. You continue all of your practices, you continue the braiding of hair, you continue the plaiting of your mats, you continue the weaving of clothes, you continue the tie down, you continue the positive practices when it comes to respect for older people. Everything should be done, but it should be done without a child being mutilated or a woman being mutilated. That's what we are going for.
Have you been involved into some unwholesome scene by some of these
Obviously.
These traditional people because of your advocacy?
Obviously.
You're trying to take bread from their mouth. You're trying to take their food from their table, because these are activities that the old people, the forefathers of our ancestors lived on and they built themselves before God could call them.
Yeah, without being disrespectful to tradition, of which I'm a traditionalist, I strongly support tradition. One of the instances, even Tokatano from Lofa County, he's part of the he or she when it comes to it. He would tell you, once upon a time we're in studio discussing this, and we know what happened. If you ever heard about the burning of the radio station, we were in studio when nothing happened. No one knows why it happened. However, we say thank God we talked to the traditional people and we were able to resolve everything because they felt that we were going beyond our bounds. But we could not go beyond our bounds because policy were already enshrined. They had a policy, so we have to discuss it. So indeed, that's why we are talking for alternative livelihood for them. The government should consider putting into budget alternative livelihood for these people. I tell you, if we do not do this, I'm afraid that all of the gains that have been made may be derailed. Because if you don't have means for your own support, you may likely go back to your old practice. So I 100% agree that our traditional people must be respected, and in order to be respected, they must have source of economic income.
I hear around here. It's because of the advocacy that I see a lot of Liberian men having a plan to have the International Men's Day.
Obviously, that is it. I'm so glad you brought that out. In 2018, he for she Crusaders Liberia in support, in partnership with the All 7 April, the SOAP and other institutions, we established and we launched the first International Men's Day in Liberia. And it was surprising to know that when we launched that, we were bullied from all over. Even our professional colleagues from the civil society anchors called what new thing you bring here? What is this? And everything. But they failed to realize the day is November 19th of each year. It's just 7 days to that of the commencement of the 16 days of activism. When you look at the International Men's Days, it directly speaks to male that have contributed immensely to their homes, and also look at the mental health of male. People are not looking at that. That's why I say the perpetrators are not being considered in the advocacy. So when we introduced that and we started up provide education and everything, people now are beginning to understand that, look, we need to prioritize men. The International Men's Day, which will be celebrated November 19 this year, we will definitely invite ELB. I think ELBC 2 years ago organized the International Men's Day. They hosted the International Men's Day in this place. I can vividly record of that and everything. And under that, we promote male. We showcase the work that men. Who told you that men are not positive at home? Who told you that men are not supportive at home? Who told you that men are not good caretakers at home and everything? But these things are not being showcased, and because are not being showcased, the only negative part of male are being put forth into the society. That male are abusive, male are violent, male are but whatever male taking care of the child at home? You got fathers who are very supportive at homes. Do we flag this thing? No. But under the International Men's Day celebration, these things are flagged up. We bring out the positivity of male, the support that men are doing in order to what to serve as an advocate or as a opener for other men to have similar mindset. That's what we do in the community. So the International Men's Day, it brings out the issue. And when we talk about International Men's Day, I just want to say bravo to the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai, for appointing the highest or the largest number of women in government. From our statistic machine, we have seen this is the highest number of women that have been appointed in government since the establishment of Liberia. Go and do a research with the number of women that President Joseph Boakai have appointed in government,
both local and
national, and international, whatever it is. You will see that indeed he is a he for she. And today I take up my heart up and say, President Joseph Boakai, indeed you have broken the record when it comes to our advocacy, because we're fighting for even 30%. President Joseph Boakai has gone beyond that. Go and do the statistics and see the amount of women.
Because 30% has been the benchmark.
But go and see the statistics. See the amount of women he has appointed. See the amount of women. And those women he has appointed, the president has exclusive confidence in you. Go and do the best you can do, because in order to bring the reality of the arrest agenda, the president sees that women are partners, equal partners, not only partners, but equal partners and valuable partners in the fight to ensure that the arrest agenda becomes a reality in Liberia. So I say thank you, Mr. President. We are not yet there. We'll keep advocating.
But you should be advocating for more men.
There are more men. Yes, indeed. Because there are more men into the thing. So with the appointment of over 50+% of women into his government, when we talk about percent, they will see the numbers of women that he has appointed. Look, I tell you, the president, he should be celebrated for this. I wish that all women will see this and join the men to celebrate the president for this and encourage him to do more when it comes to this.
Are you conferring the kingship on him?
It's not even I'm officially confirming. In training, I'm distraining myself as traditionally as because I'm a Tama and he's a Numa, so traditionally he's a smaller brother. But for today, I discharge myself from that brotherhood and take the crown and give it to President Joseph Boakai today. Traditionally, I crown you as the he for she, king and father of Liberia. And please use that.
You have to do that, though you have said it on the state broadcaster. You have to do
obviously.
You take the press there and present such an honor to the president.
Obviously, we will definitely do it, and we're ready to do that during the 16th. During the International Men's Day, which is November 19th. That the president will be officially given this particular thing as a he for she champion. Not only he for, but leading. You can be a champion, but not leading. But he leading the process, and for leading the process, he must be given a plight that he can see and know that indeed he has done well for the Liberian women.
Well, Mr. Tamba, I know that you say you.
Yep, I have another engagement about by 8:40 at Corona Hotel. We're having this international guest stars in country, and we have in open. So
we can take few calls, then we will leave you. So the numbers you can call now is the numbers are 086-324740. 07759785530. You can call and be a part of the conversation. Mr. Tamba F. Johnson is here. He's the Chief Executive Officer and National Coordinator for the He for She Crusaders Liberia. He's my guest on the first hand of the Super Morning Show on ELBC 99.9 and other frequencies across Liberia. So the numbers are 0886-324740. 07759785530. Call and let's have your say this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is S. Lawrence from Nova California. This is the morning.
Good morning, S. Lawrence.
Yeah, hi to my senior brother in studio, Mr. Tama, for the contribution they are doing. I have an observation.
Go ahead.
All what they're doing in Matorado, I'm appealing to Mr. Tama. Last season, they should find time though, so that they can come down to Foya to the open room to educate our traditional people so that it will be minimized here in local rough. Thank you so much this morning.
Thank you. 07759785530 0886-324-740. These are the numbers you call and be part of the conversation this morning. Once again, 0886-324-740, 07759785530. You can call and speak with Mr. Tamba this morning. He's from He for She Crusaders, Liberia. And Mr. Tamba, you heard the caller from Foya.
Yeah, thank you very much. The actual thing, Tama is my first name, Johnson is my last name, it's my surname. So in Lofa County, we have a team there. It's headed by Poika Yoma. We station in Fonjama City. We have a team there. So we think we just talk to them and they'll be able to move up into this thing. I feel where we work, we have team into this area. So I 100% agree with you. If Poika have now moved into Foya, we will try to make sure that during the dry season or whatever time we'll be able to intensify our network into that particular area. As you said at the airport and the money and everything, and we will keep on advocating and make sure that people see the need of us intensifying our advocacy in Lofa County. And in that particular thing, I love to say this morning on condemning the act of one of our kingsmen in Lofa that with his own 12 years old stepdaughter in Lofa County. I condemn that to the highest, though he admitted the act, but that is barbaric. And he was under the devil influence or whatever. So we want to know the devil that did such a thing. So we condemn that because it's not unique of Lofians. We are tolerant, we are respectful, we are people that support our wives and our children. We protect them. So that particular devil that fool him, I pray that devil be seen and be destroyed, so that Lofa can be saved from such power. So we indeed will extend our advocacy and our network into this part, especially Foya, where myself came from the area of Podoma. So I think we'll get it.
Well, we can take two more calls. If two persons can call, then we call it a day. Mr. Johnson needs to go for an engagement. We caught him on the way last night, but it was good that he came this morning to provide some clarity. The numbers are 0886-324-740, 0886-324-740, 07759785530. Go on, ask Mr. Johnson the necessary questions this morning. He will soon be leaving us. Let me speak with this person from this angle. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm Josh Tobacco from my Panasfare community.
Go ahead, sir.
So let me appreciate the brother in studio. I usually follow a program when I was in Swaju. They had a one-time program in Swaju. I just want to encourage you to actually focus on the South issue because most of our females here, they are actually afraid in terms of participating into national decision making. Even at the local level, most of them feel insecure to even go for some country position. So I also want you to focus on that. I also appreciate the president for at least empowering more females into his government. I think their institutional agenda is trying to gain weight and encouraging to keep on doing the work best in the interest of the Liberian people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You want to speak to that?
Well, thank you very much. At least our work has been visible and people are seeing it and know that we are not just talking, but we are being appraised by the work we do in it. So when it comes to empowering, talking to more women, indeed, we have our coordinator in Grand Juda County, which it is Ellis. Ellis is also in Grand Juda. Ellis here is in Grand Juda County, and the team are there. To sustain people on the field, it's capital intensive. It's very much capital intensive. As I said, we don't have no support from nowhere. No partner is supporting us now, but our doors are still open. Our engagements are still being made and felt in these things. So we'll definitely we take that as a recommendation. We'll be able to talk to our team there. Look, we need to have the really talk shows and everything in order to keep educating and keep creating awareness in Grand Juda County for more women political participation and more engagement that do not shy away. That is your national, that is your right. It's not a privilege. It's your right in order to participate within local governments and everything. We'll keep advocating and keep encouraging them. So we take that and we jot it down. It's part of our platform.
Yeah, Mr. Tama. Finally, how are you in a very good working relationship with the National Civil Society Council of Liberia?
I am one of the staunch decision maker of the National Council, the National Civil Society Council of Liberia, Loretta Pokal. I am. I'll say on the platform. Maybe I'll contest after attending. I'm also a staunch member and a founding member of the Human Rights Advocacy Platform of Liberia, of which Honorable Adama Dempster is chairing. I'm one of the brain behind that and everything. So when it comes to civil society, the name Tama is a household name, and the institution he for she is household in the setting of civil society in Liberia. Yeah.
Finally, any other thing?
Finally, I say to everybody, first, let me say, hand up to all women that celebrated the Menstrual Hygiene Day, which was just a few days ago, and I join my voice to the many voices calling upon the government of Liberia through the office of the president to lower the tariff when it comes to the pie, the sanitary pie, so that it can be affordable, accessible, and available to all Liberians. Monrovia is not Liberia. We got people in the towns and villages that are female and they need sanitary pies. So the more we lower the price on the importation of it, it will become more affordable and more accessible and available to women. So I join my voice to the many advocates that have been over time to ensure that the government kindly consider dropping that particular tariff on the importation of sanitary pads to make it affordable. We need that in the schools. Just to backtrack, in 2022, we did a project with Foreign Sea. Is one of the one of the support institution of the Swedish government in Bonn County. Was the first institution. He for she was the very first institution that broke the silence on stereotype when it comes to menstrual hygiene. We were able to build established menstrual hygiene clubs and build sanitary pads facility in the courts in Bonn County, in the schools and other areas. We had passed into this area. Since the project got over with our support for anything that, but we still had the facilities there, and we pray that we will have money in order to continue our work into this particular area. So the lower we have on the pad, we'll have more women having access to it. And today, you go to the court, the records are there. One woman went to the court. It's a testimony that she had a period unknown to herself, and to her upon surprise, but then she has stopped by the pad into this place. She was able to use it. That was one of our success stories in the place. So we use it as an advocacy in order to ensure that women have access to public areas to the sanitary pad.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you very much. And my doors are open, and I'll always be your guest, especially when coming around the International Men's Day. That will be able to create more awareness and be able to invite into many things when it comes to creating awareness on male mental health. We need to see and work along with the perpetrators.
He's Tamba Johnson, the Chief Executive Officer and National Coordinator of He for She Crusaders Liberia. He's been my guest this morning. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back after this break.